Management styles of social economy female leaders. Case studies from Poland. The study presented in the paper concerns management styles demonstrated by female leaders of social enterprises operating in central Poland. Attention was paid to factors of success, obstacles standing on the way to the development of the organization, characteristics and management styles of female leaders, and self-esteem of female leaders. A qualitative study using the individual in-depth interview technique was conducted among 12 female leaders of social economy entities. The qualitative study was supplemented with elements of quantitative analysis, allowing for comparisons between the surveyed women. Management styles. The 20th century brought the beginning of scientific reflection on management processes, which translated into interest in the characteristics of managers and the emergence of the so-called trait theory. The work of Ralph Stodgill has shown that individuals do not become leaders because they possess certain character traits. He recognized that situational factors may also contribute. The discussion of manager traits has evolved into the topic of management styles, which in some way unify or synthesize the thread of traits into larger recognizable complexes of behavior. Management styles. Kurt Lewin proposed 3 types of styles still in vogue today: authoritarian, democratic, and laissez-faire. The democratic style is the best approach that allows achieving the highest efficiency of the organization and satisfaction of subordinates. The path-goal theory distinguishes 4 leadership styles: directive, supportive, participatory, and achievement-oriented. The research presented in this paper uses the proposal presented by Janusz REICHEL, who distinguished 4 management styles: authoritarian despotic, authoritarian benevolent, consultative, and democratic. Likert management styles. For the characteristics of each of the styles, 5 dimensions can be used: care for staff, superior-subordinate relations, participation, motivational system, and atmosphere of solidarity. There is no universal best management style. It is up to the leader to choose the method to be used that fits the specific situation in specific conditions and time. Conclusions presented in the literature. Among the conclusions presented in the literature on the management styles presented by women, the following should be mentioned, which largely focus on the opposition of men's agency versus women's communality. Women more often use the participatory and democratic styles. Women more often present a collective approach. Their style is more people-based and relationship-oriented. Women intuitively notice which subordinates needs more support and show more understanding. Women are more likely to be risk-averse. Other studies have produced different results. Many differences seem unimportant except for differences in the decision-making process. No differences between women and men in terms of transformational versus transactional leadership were found. The theory of organizational behavior claims that women and men in the same positions will behave similarly. Research results. 12 female leaders of social enterprises took part in the research. All the ladies run social cooperatives. The recording of the interviews was subjected to the content analysis. The interview was standardized and contained a sequence of open and closed questions. Factors determining the success of an organization on the market. The following elements from the list have the highest average ratings: an integrated team, understanding the needs of customers, a good atmosphere at work, and persistence in overcoming difficulties. The ratings are on a fairly flat scale, which indicates a tendency for many interviewees to treat all or almost all of the items on the list as having an equal impact on the company's success. The list of potential obstacles to the development of the organization. Here, the highest scores also dominate. The complexity of legal regulations and the perceived lack of support from the state and local government were considered the greatest obstacles. The interlocutors do not complain about the lack of interest on the part of customers. And most often, with the exception of some situations presented in the case studies, they do not feel that there is any problem with the vulnerable groups taking up work. The average results for the surveyed female leaders indicate a mixed style composed of elements of a consultative and participatory style. This also harmonizes with the findings in the literature. They are assigned the so-called a more feminine leadership style, empathetic and democratic, based on a high degree of care for people. A few cases differ from the typically participatory style. Only in 3 cases the indications show a more consultative style than a democratic style. Among the respondents, there was also a female interviewee who assessed herself and her leadership style as a style with the predominance of consultative over paternalistic. Sentence that the best characterizes of you as a leader. The interviewees were asked to choose the motto they most identify with. The selection options are presented in the table. The interlocutors could be divided into 4 equinumerous groups. The 4 groups of leaders can be given the conventional names as follows: listening, empathetic, leading, and encouraging leaders. Conclusions. The image of management styles obtained by the female leaders of the social enterprises seems to confirm the current indications of the literature. The respondents, with one exception, present management styles bordering on consultative and participatory management styles. They pay attention to relations with subordinate, especially since they often belong to the so-called vulnerable groups that deserve special attention. The presented analysis shows that we can potentially try to isolate different groups of social enterprise female managers based on the self-assessment of their approach to managing the organization and their attitude towards other participants in the organization. On this basis, the study distinguished listening, empathetic, leading, and encouraging female leaders. However, the legitimacy of such a division requires more further, extensive quantitative research.